Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating financial paradox, basically exploring why working yourself absolutely to the bone doesn't always equal lasting wealth. We're going to unpack the hidden mechanics of financial success, relying strictly on the data and insights from our source material today. So if you've ever felt like you're doing everything right but still just aren't getting ahead financially, well, you're definitely going to want to hear this. Have you ever wondered why two people earning the exact same salary can end up in totally different financial universes 10 years later? Just picture this. Two colleagues sitting in the exact same office, cashing the exact same paychecks. A decade down the line, one owns a home, boasts a solid six-figure investment portfolio, and barely even sweats the monthly bills. And the other? Still living paycheck to paycheck, totally stressed out about every single emergency. The source material reveals that the difference between these two individuals usually isn't raw intelligence. It isn't some incredible stroke of luck, and it certainly isn't their income. It literally all comes down to habits. To put that into perspective, right now in America, millions of people make over $100,000 a year. Yet they find themselves completely stuck on this financial treadmill where the money flows out exactly as fast as it flows in. Meanwhile, there are others earning half that amount, say $50,000 a year, who quietly build a very real, totally stress-free six-figure net worth. Now, this isn't about judging anyone's financial status, right? It's really about decoding the daily choices that construct these vastly different realities.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, the income paradox and the mindset shift.
So the absolute biggest differentiator here isn't intelligence or luck, it's mindset. People who stay broke often view money simply as a ticket to consume. The exact second a paycheck clears, their brain goes straight to work planning. Phone upgrades every 11 months, new designer clothes, or treating themselves to crazy expensive dinners out. It's a pure consumption mindset. But wealthy-minded individuals, they view every single dollar as a dedicated employee with a very strict job description. They don't just see paper. They see a tiny worker whose only job is to go out and recruit more workers. So they redirect those dollars into stocks, retirement accounts, real estate, and businesses. Instead of asking what they can buy with their paycheck today, they ask one absolutely crucial question. How can this dollar make me another dollar? It seems like such a simple shift, but trust me, it changes everything. Because when you start asking this, you stop constantly inflating your lifestyle, and you start building systems where your money is actually working for you while you are fast asleep. Which leads us perfectly into section 2, the gratification trap and budgeting. Think about the massive divide in how we handle delayed gratification. The modern trap is basically relying on massive financing just to enjoy luxury today. Like buying a crazy expensive sports car just to sit in stop-and-go traffic, and then leaving the stress of paying for it for tomorrow. This instant gratification is exactly why the average household carries thousands in high-interest debt. Wealth builders, however, know that saying no today is how you say a massive yes to the future. Instead of financing that luxury car just to look wealthy, they choose a reliable used car and actively invest the difference every single month. Through compound growth, that one single choice can literally be worth tens of thousands of dollars just 5 or 10 years down the road. And it's exactly the same story with budgeting. So many people practice the avoidance strategy, literally refusing to look at their banking apps after a weekend out because they are absolutely terrified of what the balance might be. Then they reach the end of the month entirely confused about why their account is empty. Conversely, wealth builders don't view a budget as a punishment or some strict restriction. They just see it as a proactive roadmap. Before the month even begins, they create a spending plan, they automate their savings, they pay themselves first, and they give every single dollar a distinct purpose based on intentional decisions, not just emotional impulses. Okay, let's move on to section 3, escaping the traps through learning and strategic debt. One of the most, frankly, fatal financial habits is stopping your education the exact moment you leave school. A lot of people will work incredibly hard for decades without taking a single weekend to truly understand taxes, retirement accounts, or even basic investing. Meanwhile, those actively building wealth are pretty much obsessed with continuous learning. They are reading the books, they're listening to the finance podcasts, and studying successful investors. And more importantly, they realize the stock market isn't the only place to invest. By investing in themselves, whether that's learning a new high-income skill, earning a certification, or launching a side business, they dramatically increase the amount of income they can generate over their lifetime. And this mindset directly impacts how they handle debt, too. Poor money habits usually involve borrowing money to buy things that immediately lose value. Think expensive electronics, designer clothes, or, putting a luxury vacation on a credit card. These create really heavy monthly payments but generate absolutely zero income. Wealth builders, however, use debt strategically. If they are taking on debt, it is almost exclusively to acquire assets that will either grow in value or produce steady cash flow. They clearly understand the line between depreciating debt that makes you poorer and strategic debt that, when used responsibly, actually accelerates your wealth. Now let's tackle Section 4, defeating lifestyle inflation. So what actually happens when you finally get that raise or that big bonus at work? Well, this is where so many people fall victim to lifestyle inflation. The exact moment their income goes up, their spending goes up by the exact same amount. Bigger paycheck, gotta get a bigger house, fancier car, more subscriptions. They take much more expensive vacations. The numbers on the paycheck are larger, sure, but because the expenses grew right alongside them, the person is still effectively trapped. They are running just as fast on the treadmill, sweating just as much, but staying in the exact same place. But wealthy-minded folks, they run a completely different playbook when they get a raise, following a very specific progression. Step 1, they keep their lifestyle relatively stable. They don't immediately rush out to upgrade their entire life. Step 2, they take that new extra income and funnel it directly into increased investments, retirement contributions, and emergency savings. Which leads right to Step 3. They ensure their net worth outpaces their consumption. They deliberately allow their wealth to grow significantly faster than their spending ever does. Which brings us to our final core area, Section 5, the accumulation of choices. We all tend to look at wealthy people and just assume they got there through a singular event, right? Like a massive windfall or some crazy lucky break. But the data shows us something else entirely. Wealth is built on consistency, not perfection. Most millionaires in America didn't win the lottery. They achieved financial freedom through thousands upon thousands of ordinary, practically invisible choices made over and over again for years. It isn't built in these dramatic, cinematic moments. It is built quietly. So here is the totally unglamorous reality of getting rich. It's investing a few $100s every single month, without fail. It's consistently avoiding unnecessary consumer debt. It's waking up every day and making the choice to live below your means. And perhaps the hardest part of all, staying patient for years. It's these incredibly consistent, sometimes boring actions over time that actually compound into lasting, unshakable financial freedom. You don't need to be perfect with your money, you just need to be remarkably consistent with the good habits. And that really brings us to a fundamental truth about personal finance. Your salary might dictate the total amount of money flowing into your bank account, but it is solely your daily habits that dictate how much of it actually remains yours to keep. You do not need a millionaire's salary to start thinking like one. You simply need millionaire habits. Because every single financial choice you make today is literally a vote for the person you'll become in 10 years. When you look at your own daily routine, are you casting votes for the person who is stressed out and living paycheck to paycheck, or the one who is completely financially free? Are you paying for your past, or are you funding your future? The choice is entirely in your hands. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.